everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Way Out Pickleball Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Packman.
Matt Krause.
We're in the house. Sorry we missed you guys last week. It was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You were traveling, right?
I was traveling. I had family in town. It was great. Took like 4 days off pickleball. That's like a lifetime. But yeah, now we're back. Got a new episode of the pod here. We have a lot of fun topics to cover, and yeah, the PPA finals are going on right now. Mm-hmm. We've been really excited about those. I think maybe this week we might do like a recap
That'd be fun.
of those.
Yeah.
So we'll keep all of the annoying PPA finals talk out of this podcast.
Yeah, I'll just say this. It's been fun to see different players make it to the finals and like play with different partners. I just think that's the most fun part about it.
A lot of upsets.
Yeah.
A lot of really good games.
Yeah. But we'll get into that next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, how's your game coming, man? You've been playing since you got back. What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been good. I feel like the last time I played, I was not on the top of my game, but I definitely feel like, yeah, we've been having some fun games.
What do you do, like, how do you get out of your head when you're, like, in a slump? Like, I know you're not a very cerebral, like you don't have that inner dialogue that's like, you fucking suck. Like, which I heard about that, like, that some people don't have an inner monologue, which you do not, right?
No.
So if you don't have an inner monologue, you're legit not talking to yourself in between points and stuff.
No, it's yeah, there's some percentage of people who like don't experience a inner monologue.
Yeah, I think it's obviously, like 20%.
Obviously, like I have thoughts, there's things knocking around in my head.
Yeah.
But it's not the sort of like talking in a conversational tone with myself. So it's more like, they're more like, it's like feelings and like images and, you know, sure, like sometimes like you talk, but there's not a constant moving around of
no
like
chatter.
Yeah, that like chattering.
So in the middle of like a pickleball point, let's say you miss an easy put away into the net or out, like you don't have that conversation in your head. It's more like you, like, what happens?
No, usually I vocalize it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more so just like feeling, like I'm saying. It's not like, oh, you like really screwed that up. It's like the feeling of like, oh, I screwed that up.
Like you feel like that pit in your stomach feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for a long time, especially early on in my playing, like every point like could impact my mood. And I don't feel like that's necessarily the case anymore. Obviously, like, you know, if I am playing poorly for like an entire game, it like can put me in a bad mood.
Sure.
But yeah, I feel like the individual shots, like individual mistakes, I call myself an idiot and just move on.
Yeah.
It doesn't really like impact the
next point,
how I play the next point.
Yeah.
Every once in a while that definitely creeps in, but
I think that's important because like you'll see errors usually like come in bunches. Yeah. So like, for example, let's say I miss a serve return into the net or out. It's like the next point I might miss an easy put away or an easy drop or something like that. And it's like, I don't know why it's such a game of runs, but I think it's also very cerebral. It's a very mental game. And so a lot of it has to do with like sometimes you're still thinking about the last mistake or the last point that you didn't put away or the last thing or the last, you know, whatever your partner did or whatever, and it really starts to creep into the next point. So how do you just like let that go? And like you don't meditate or anything, right?
Not really.
Yeah, so how do you just like let that go and just move on? Not let it affect the next point.
Yeah. I mean, I like for a while, it definitely, this sort of like emotional attachment to playing was like a problem for me. And I honestly just looked up like some sport psychology techniques or whatever, and it's really just like not like, a lot of it is just not having that like negative talk, like instead of being like, oh, I missed that ball, like I hit such a terrible shot, it's like, oh, I can make that shot,
like I got
like
that,
that's a shot that I have.
Yep.
Although for whatever reason it annoys me when people
say
that to me.
Yeah.
Like Marissa's always like, oh, you got that, you have that shot, and I'm like, I know I have that shot. You don't need to tell me, I already told myself that.
Yeah, but I think that's a common thing to say in team sports. Like, oh, you got that, you got this. Like, it's just a way of her letting you know, like, I'm supporting you. I'm not worried about you missing that shot because I know you're gonna get the next one. And it's just a way of like your partner instilling confidence in you, because they want you to know that they got your back, but they also don't want you to keep making errors. True. So it could be kind of a selfish motive also secretly behind it. I think for me, dude, and like I used to play with this senior like 5-0, and we used to play mixed a lot together when I was newer. And I think she saw like whatever, she saw that like I had some potential to get better. And so when I was like a 4-0, she would invite me to play with some of this other senior 5-0s. And she would say things to me like, she'd say, you need a mantra because you get too frustrated after you miss a shot. So like you need some sort of phrase that you can say to yourself to get yourself back into your body and out of your head. And so this may sound a little woo-woo, whatever, but like something that really helped me was like, I kind of made it my own. And like now I'll say like out of my head into my body. Like I'll just say out of my head in my body. Like, and that it allows me to like trust that my body knows what to do. And I don't need to think. I don't need to think about where to place my paddle head or how to counter this shot or how to hit this drive. Like, I've hit these shots so many times, my body knows what to do. So now it's just like turn this off and just like let this like just like automate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have like and you'll see like pros do this and whatever other people, but like I usually like tap my paddle 3 times against the wall behind me or something like that as like a resetting technique or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is also surprising just how taking a deep breath really does make a difference.
It's so effective. Taking deep breaths in between points is like...
But it is so frustrating when, like I always say this, like I don't get mad when I lose. I get mad when I play bad.
When you beat yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I am perfectly happy to lose every single game in a 2-hour match as long as like I'm playing well and I feel good about
were they good points
playing.
Like if they were good points, you don't feel so bad about losing. It's when you beat yourself and you're like, we didn't even get any good rallies because I couldn't hit a fucking drop shot or whatever. And that's where frustration comes in. Or if your partner also is like in their head can't hit a shot and they're just getting targeted the whole time, like that's not really fun. I don't really find that super fun to like never get a ball and just get iced out, and your partner just feels like they feel shitty because they're missing every shot. You feel shitty because you can't help them. Yeah. And you don't know what to say, and it's like at the end of it, nobody's having fun. The other team isn't even having fun because they know they're just like easily targeting this person who's in their head. And so nobody's really having fun because there aren't good rallies. So I feel like even teams makes pickleball so much more fun, dude. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like whenever you watch a match at the pro level, it's like nobody enjoys watching 11-1, 11-0 matches. Yeah. It's like...
But you got to go through that to get better.
Yeah.
You got to go through getting your ass handed to you to get better. And, the first time You play open, you're going to get your ass handed to you. The first time you play 5-0, you're going to get your ass handed to you. The first time you play 4 or 5. Like, you know. But if you want to play higher level players, like, you got to be okay with getting fucking spanked around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a tough progression trying to find, like, getting better while, like, constantly playing good games all the way up. You know, it's tough.
And I think we talked about in one of the other podcasts where you can play down or play like lower level games and still work on things. Like you can still drill and you can still get better playing lower level players. I think there's a myth that like you have to play higher level games with people that are better than you to get better. And I don't think that's true. I think if you drill and you consistently work on things in your game, like your weak points, then you can still get better. You just may not get better as quickly as if you get into games with higher level players.
Yeah. No, but I have always had trouble playing down.
Yeah.
Though, because it's like, speaking of like, you know, inner mantras or like how you play when you're not playing well, it's like that pattern where you are playing some lower level players and you're like, I'm not even going to care about this game. Yeah. And then it's like, they hit like a great shot. You're like not in the right position because you're not bending your knees. You're not like getting in the line.
Trying
and then
hard.
you get frustrated and try to like overhit, and then you're just like, oh man, now I'm in this place where it's like now I feel like I'm trying too hard and still not even winning. But
and also when you play lower level players, you see weird shots where you're like, why is that ball like coming at my head, but they mishit it so badly that it's like going in. And the shots are like hit super flat and have no spin, and you're just not used to seeing that when you've been playing like better players who can really spin the ball a lot.
Absolutely. When you see someone contact a ball and you expect it to be at your chest, and it's like up off your right shoulder, but like that's not where they meant to hit it. Yeah, you know,
and it goes in.
It's weird,
and it goes in because they like hit it with like the edgy guard. So,
definitely.
Oh, I got a hair in my mouth. Nice mellow.
It's probably, your dog's hair everywhere.
Gross. All right. Well, let's get into the next topic. We kind of just want to, you know, break down a couple things about strategy and like what we think about the game. This week, there's been a lot of talk about different balls, and I feel like okay, we got the Vulcan Gen 2. The Vulcan Gen 1 was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Vulcan Gen 2, I haven't played with it yet. I don't think you have either. I've got a bunch of them I ordered. They were on Black Friday sale, so I'll let you guys know how those play.
Which are the PPA official ball.
Right. We got the Selkirk, which I think is a decent ball. We got the Gearbox, which we'll get into that ball. The Dura, which the yellow Dura. There's a green Dura too, which is like less common, but the yellow Dura is pretty nice. And then we've got the Franklin X40, right? Those are the main balls that we see in our area. I haven't played with the Diadem. I haven't played with the Yola. The Gamma Library or Gamma Chuck or something. I think the Gamma has a ball. Anyways, I haven't played with that one either. But yeah, those are the main ones. And then I actually heard Lifetime Fitness is coming out with their own ball, which is interesting because they have so many facilities and so many players who play pickleball. Yeah. I think if they can come out with a really good ball, that's a genius business model.
It could be a big hit, yeah.
They could because they have so much money to back them too. Right. So, but anyways, I want to get into like weather and how these balls play differently. So I would say like in colder weather, I really like the Franklin X40. I think it's a great ball as far as like the durability. I think its spin is very true. I think it holds its shape very well. And they generally don't crack. The problem with the Franklin X40 is in hot weather, it plays very soft and it's very hard to put a ball away. And the ball plays a bit slower, right? So if I was playing
like a marshmallow.
If I was playing in like Florida in the summertime, playing with a Franklin X40, I'd have to play with a Yola, a Gearbox, or a Paddletech just to put a ball away. Yeah. So that's kind of the pros and cons of the Franklin X40. When they're new, they play very well. I actually really like the Franklins.
Yeah, it feels like they're doing something different with them.
The new ones that I've seen coming out, they feel really good. I'm actually I'm pro Franklin right now. I never thought I'd say that. Now, when they get worn down and they start to lose their I don't know, they start to lose their stiffness, they get way too soft. So I feel like you do have to kind of throw them out before they kind of break. So that's one of the downsides. Let's talk about the Selkirk ball. What do you think about the Selkirk ball?
Yeah, well, we have like a ambassador to Selkirk, who's a friend of ours, and he got a couple hundred of them before they were released. So a lot of us were playing with them, before like they were out to the general public.
Yeah.
And obviously, like the main thing about them is they do not crack, and it was like any ball that cracks you can return. You have to return them in like bunches, like groups of 4, which it's like if you ever play with these balls, you'll never crack.
They don't crack.
Selkirks.
Yeah.
So smart on their part. But I thought they were playing really well when we first got them, but the longer that they've been out, I do feel like they get rogue bounces.
Yeah. They get a little out of round.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like they get out around, but because of the orientation of the ball, of the holes in the ball, there's 3 different sizes. There's like a very small, a normal size, and then like a slightly larger size hole. They're very symmetrical. If you look at like a Gearbox or a Dura or a Franklin, you can't actually look through one hole and then look through the other one on the other side of the ball. But on a Selkirk, you can. So they're like fully symmetrical in that way. And I think that causes it when the ball bounces on a hole, it could have an impact on it having that odd bounce. That's different because you have that like symmetry in the ball. Yeah. That's just like a hypothesis. It would be very difficult to test something like that.
Yeah, I think they go out of round pretty frequently. And I think they get great spin. I think when they're new, they play pretty quickly. Like they're probably in between a Franklin and a Dura. And when they start to wear down, they get really soft and mushy, kind of like a Franklin. So probably similar plastic to a Franklin, like similar build quality, I guess, to a Franklin. Yeah. I wouldn't put them on like my top 3 balls. But I would say like we play with Selkirks quite a bit, and like I don't know, I wouldn't pay $3 a ball for a Selkirk. If they were on sale, I might grab some.
Yeah, but I will say, like in terms of if you are looking to buy 4 balls and you play like once a week, once a month with friends, buy Selkirk balls.
They're gonna last.
They're
gonna
last forever. Yeah. They're not.
Or Franklin are gonna last a long time too. So, but if you want something that plays a little bit faster than a Franklin, Selkirk's definitely a great ball.
Yeah.
Well, actually, none of them are great balls. I shouldn't say they're great balls.
Yeah.
Compared to other balls out there, because there are some really bad ones out there. So I would say Selkirk's up there.
I mean, our sport is essentially trying to like find a perfect wiffle ball.
Yeah,
which is like
fucking impossible.
It's a very difficult task for sure.
So next up, we've got the Dura Fast 40, which is made by Onyx. Dura is like I used to really like the Dura because it played a lot faster. Really, really hard to play with in cold weather. You'll get a lot of balls going out around, cracking. Duras last the least. They're called Dura,
right?
But they do not fucking last. They definitely do not last. So, and they're fucking expensive. They're like $4 a ball at our local clubs. So, pretty crazy on the price point, and they do play the fastest out of all the balls. So,
you think they play faster than a Gearbox GB1?
I think they play faster than a Gearbox. Yeah.
I feel like I just haven't played with a Dura in so long that it's hard for me to know.
I was drilling with some yellow Duras this morning. There was a few new ones in the basket we were drilling with, and I was like, dude, this ball is hitting hard.
Mm-hmm.
And but the gearbox, okay, I want to talk about gearbox next. So Dura, I think, is an extremely overrated ball. I think it's great that it plays fast, but I personally would rather play with a ball that lasts a little bit longer. Hence why we're going to talk about the gearbox ball. Now, the gearbox ball is probably my favorite ball. And me and Matt are kind of on the same page with this until they come out with something that, is better.
Yeah.
And I haven't tried the Vulcan Gen 2, so I couldn't tell you guys, but I've got some ordered. The gearbox, to me, is it has the best mixture of like speed, spin, durability. It plays well in moderate temperature. I think in cold weather it does not play well. I think outdoor I would rather not play with a gearbox because they will crack outdoors. I think outdoor, if it's cold, I'd rather play with a Franklin. Yeah. But if it's indoor, and it's somewhere that's temperature controlled, like we have a place that's called the Pickleball Zone, and I think it's like 65 degrees in there, and it's a perfect temperature for the gearbox ball. It plays very well in that location. Our other club that we belong to, Ouija Creek, it depends if they turn the heaters on or not. Because in the morning time, I played 8 o'clock in the morning with a gearbox ball, and it lasted one game.
Right.
So it just depends. And it's cold out here. It's like 36 degrees. So, yeah.
And they're definitely not the cheapest ball out there. So a 3-pack is $11. So that's like essentially...
That says 12-pack.
Yeah, but this is the 3-pack price.
Okay.
Yeah. $11. So I don't know why this doesn't change, but it's $11 for 3 balls, and then it's $35 for 12. So it's just around $3 a ball. When you buy 12,
you can get them at our local club, the Pickleball Zone, for $3 a ball.
Yeah. That's essentially the
same deal as gearbox.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they're definitely not, the cheapest ball out there, but I definitely think they play the most consistently of any ball.
Yeah.
And they do, it's consistent across, even though they change in hot and cold weather, it's like, if I'm playing with a gearbox ball, it's going to bounce the same every time in a session.
Yep.
Unless it is broken.
They also don't go out of round. So they're going to crack before they go out of round. Whereas the Dura, it'll go out of round and crack. You don't know what's going to happen with the Dura. It'll probably go out of round and crack at some point. The Gearbox GB1, they do not go out of round, which is nice. So... yeah, I mean, you kind of pick your poison with these balls. Do you want a ball that is going to crack, or do you want a ball that is going to go out of round, or do you want a ball that is going to turn into a marshmallow and be so soft that that the points aren't even challenging? So it's kind of just you gotta pick your poison with this stuff. Franklin will run sales on their balls where you can sometimes get 100 balls for $100. So... that's a great deal. I picked up 100 Vulcan balls for $140. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
So yeah, we're gonna split that and do some drilling with those balls. Especially if you're looking to play PPA tournaments, it would be probably worth your while to pick up some Vulcan Gen 2 balls to hit with. But yeah, I mean that's really it for balls. Nobody's really came out with anything that's changing the game here. None of them are great. Some of them are slightly better than others. Ultimately, I used to be a snob about what kind of ball we used in what round robin. As long as the ball is generally pretty new, I don't care. If it's a new Selkirk, a new Franklin, a new gearbox, a new Dura, I don't care what ball we play with as long as it's decently new. Yeah. If it's several weeks old, that ball is going to be dead. It's not going to bounce much at all. And yeah, it's just not very fun to play with.
And you can only buy gearbox balls, to my knowledge, in packs of 12 right now. And like on Amazon, for instance, Franklin X40s are $187 for 100. So that's, $1.87.
That's pretty good. Ball. That's less than $2 a ball. That's pretty solid. And I don't know what they've been doing differently, but I swear Franklin has kind of stepped up their game with the quality of the Franklins. So I've enjoyed playing with the Franklin lately.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, anyways, especially in the winter, in these colder temps.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so speaking of colder temps, the next topic I want to discuss is like how to play differently in different weather, and like whether it's cold, whether it's hot, like ways to adjust your game. Because this used to be something that like I never thought about, but lately, this past winter as it's been getting colder, I've noticed that my drops are sitting up way higher.
Yeah.
And my resets are sitting up way higher, and I've had to play a lot more defense and scrap my way back to the kitchen, and it's just been harder to get to the kitchen as the weather has gotten colder. So instead of being like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like work on my resets and my drops and this stuff, it's like, well, no, how about if the ball is playing faster because it's colder, how about I play faster? In other words, drive most of my thirds. That way I get an easier fifth shot drop. Make sure that like if I see an opportunity to attack a ball or speed a ball up, I take that opportunity, because dinks are going to sit up higher, drops are going to sit up higher, resets are going to sit up higher when it's cold out, when the ball is playing faster. So I don't know if you've experienced this or how you adjust your game to colder weather, but that's definitely something that I'm like working on trying to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, it feels paradoxical that if the ball is playing faster, that you should play faster.
Mm-hmm.
But, the way to think about it is like, if the ball is popping up more because it's firmer, it's like these like trying to hit drops, trying to hit resets are going to get more airtime and are going to be, able to be taken out of the air more frequently and attacked. So being able to take advantage of the faster ball and hit drives, and then like a third shot drive, and then hit a fifth shot drop where you're hitting the ball from the midcourt, is just such a better has higher margins in these temps. But I'm not known for having the best drive, so I can't quite adjust that good. I just play worse, I guess.
No, I wouldn't say that. I think you'll see it too if you watch the pro game. You'll see a lot of pros are dropping the ball right now, or are driving the ball right now rather than dropping. And there's always going to be outliers. There's always going to be players who like pretty much only drop the ball. There's going to be players who pretty much only drive the ball. Like you watch James Ignatowicz, he does not hit third shot drops anymore. Like the dude hits third shot drives every time, and he gets an easier fifth shot. I guess it also depends on the quality of your drive as well. Like if you are more comfortable with your drop sitting up a little bit higher, and you and your partner can like scrap your way back in, maybe that's where your comfort level is at. I personally am not comfortable there. Like I would rather drive the ball and then get an easier fifth. Like that to me feels better. And what's cool about driving the third is like sometimes you get a winner off of that third, or you get a weird pop-up that your partner can poach on.
Yeah.
I just feel like you get to capitalize on more opportunities with a third shot drive sometimes. And depending on how the other team handles that drive as well. You got some teams that they love it when somebody drives the ball at them. They're like, cool, I'm going to counter this super hard right at your feet. Mm-hmm. You're going to give me all that pace. I'm going to take that pace and hit it down at your feet. And then you're going to have to deal with that. So just depends on who you're playing, who your partner is, I think. But the weather does, I think, play a bigger role than people think about, even indoors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's always, it is important though. A lot of people have this tendency to like hit their drives in the same spot. Like if they're on the left side of the court, like they're gonna hit a drive straight ahead of them, or if they're on the right side of the court, they're gonna hit like a cross court drive. And I would, in order to make your partner's job easier, you want to be driving the ball in front of
almost
them.
In front of them.
So it's like if I'm on the left side, I want to drive cross court because that's going to be volleyed from that left side player.
Yeah.
And either they're going to hit a perfect drop shot into the kitchen that none of us can get, and it's a winner. Congrats.
Yeah, good job.
Or they're dropping it mid-court in front of your partner who should be moving up.
Yeah.
Or they're going to hit it cross-court to you, and then you get that easier fish shot drop.
Yep.
So it's definitely important to think about where you're hitting that drive and not just like, oh, I'm going to, hit this ball as hard as I can. Especially like trying to be like, oh, hitting a third shot drive means I'm going to hit a perfect shot down the line.
Yeah.
Which is so difficult for most people. Obviously there are some people who are very consistent and can hit that like, straight ahead drive right down the line if they get the right ball. But it's a tough shot to be consistent with, and that's what we're
I think also something that I had to change my thoughts about too is like, because I try to hit the ball as hard as I can when I hit a third shot drive, and it's like, okay, that doesn't allow my partner to crash as well, because if I can hit that 70% with more spin on the ball, then it's going to dip, and then they're going to have to hit up on the ball, and my partner will have an easier time crashing. Whereas if I just hit the ball as hard as I can, the ball pretty much has a straight trajectory, and it might not start dipping until it's like in the back of the court. So if I can hit that ball 70% and get more shape on it, that to me is a better ball. And get out of the mentality of I'm trying to win the point off of this third shot drive, and get into the mentality of like I'm trying to set up the next shot. Yeah. I'm trying to set up my partner, or I'm trying to set myself up for an easier drop.
Yeah. And especially like I think people when they hit a drive, like they think I need to hit a perfect shot.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to hit it as hard as I can. I need to hit it like 2 inches over the net. But, we don't treat drops like that really. It's like, oh, it's fine to like hit a drop. It's going to be a little high.
Come in a little bit.
Come in, you can scrap it out. But I feel like once people start hitting 70% drives with more margin in the right spot, then you have a lot more success.
Yeah.
Obviously, like there's some people, you're going to hit a drive. If you hit it like a foot above the net, they're going to be able to slice it in the kitchen and it's like over. But those are just low percentage shots for your opponent to make.
Yeah. A lot of times those same people are going to hit the ball into the net too. Yeah. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth. But anyways, I think playing different weather conditions is it's an important topic to discuss. I don't hear people talking about that a lot. So the next thing we want to talk about too is like playing singles and why playing singles can make you a better doubles player. And I think that's another thing, like people get into pickleball, and a lot of people get into pickleball because maybe they haven't picked up a sport in a long time. Maybe they come from a tennis background from a long time ago. And there's not a lot of people in pickleball who love to play singles. And at the amateur level, I would say singles is not exactly booming. And less than 5%. Like maybe 2% of every single pickleball game played is a singles match. Most people like playing doubles, and I remember too, we'd have like this group that used to go and play singles at our parks out here outdoors, and we would all play a couple singles matches, and then after like 2 games, everybody would be like, okay, you guys want to just play doubles? Yeah. And it's like no, we came out here to practice singles. And I'm not looking to go on the pro tour with singles anytime soon, especially with Hunter Johnson and Stax Root. Like, fuck no, dude. But I will say this, like, when I play singles, I increase my skills of moving better, hitting bigger serves, hitting better returns. My drives are much more aggressive, and they set me and my partner up much better. I also practice moving off of the ball better. So in other words, a lot of singles is hitting the ball to where your opponent is not. Whereas like in doubles, it's a lot easier. Like it's harder to hit the ball where the opponent is not because the court is covered by two people.
Yeah.
Whereas in singles, you're running to the ball and you have to be able to either hit a shot off of like running. And we're always told like, oh yeah, don't run through your shot in pickleball. But in singles, you have to. There's no way not to hit the ball while running in singles. So what you do is you develop this skill of being able to hit a ball on the run. And that is a skill in doubles that I feel like is really underrated. Like if I'm playing mixed doubles and I want to catch my opponents off guard and I come over to take the third shot and I drive it and then I can get back to my side of the court to cover my court, like that is a skill that not a lot of people that play doubles have. They don't have the foot speed to get back. Yeah. So I think singles has helped my doubles game in a lot of different ways. That makes me a more dynamic player who is more of a threat. I'm more of a threat because I can play singles. So I haven't been playing a lot, but I definitely wanna get back to playing more singles. I also just enjoy the cardio.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely, I think people are like afraid to play it because they think like, oh, it's gonna be, exhausting. Like I don't want to like go out and play 2 hours of singles, which granted like is tough.
That's a lot of singles.
Definitely more than, playing doubles. But, a good way to get into it is to have a drilling session with someone.
Yeah.
Go out and drill for an hour, drill serves and returns, and then play, 2 games of singles and just see how it feels. Because it's definitely a different game.
Oh yeah.
But there are so many things that are that we don't work on in doubles that is just like a shot you just don't think works, or is like, oh, if I hit this, like it's gonna go out, or like it's going to XYZ, like it's just not a viable shot. But it's because you aren't ever hitting it.
Yeah.
And like if you can get to the point where you get a return to your right sideline and you feel confident that you can hit a third shot drive cross court, in singles, like then that same shot is very, very useful when someone's unwinding the stack in a doubles game. You're pulled to the right and you hit that third shot drop, or dipping drive cross court to the person running across, or vice versa, hitting a shot right down the line from that side.
Yeah.
And those are shots that I feel like, especially like amateurs are told like not to try that because they're low percentage, but they are only low percentage because
we don't work on them. You don't work on them.
And it's like, any shot to the sideline or cross court is low percentage if you never hit it, but they're actually like easier shots than you may think. You just never hit them in a controlled environment. And it's tough to drill those. Like people don't really like drill like that. But if you go out and play singles, like you're essentially drilling those shots because they happen so often in singles games.
Yeah, and it allows you to be a more dynamic doubles player. Like it allows you to see shots that maybe you wouldn't see normally in doubles. And like you can take up a little bit more court knowing that, hey, I'm going to make this aggressive shot, knowing that I can make it, and then I'm going to get back to my side and, you set your partner up for a better shot. And I don't know. I think playing singles, if anything, it'll help you work on your footwork, your ground strokes, your serves, your returns, and all of these things are so important in doubles. And I think the return of serve and the serve and the return are two shots that are the most important thing in singles, right? But they're becoming so much more important in doubles.
Definitely.
Like, when I play against a player who has a monster serve and a monster return, like, it is so hard to hit a third shot drop off of a monster return. Like, if somebody has a return that's just like, almost like a drive, just straight down at my feet, it's so hard to hit a third shot drop off that. I almost have to hit a drive off my back foot.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, half the time it's probably not even a good drive, and they have the upper hand the entire point. And so practicing your returns, if you can hit a monster serve, dude, like, that is a cheat code to getting yourself an easy third shot drop a lot. Like, I use that shot a lot. I use a monster serve a lot because it allows me and my partner to get easy thirds. And we win games because we get easy thirds. Because I have a big serve. Or I have a very spinny serve. Or whatever it is. It's like, I just try to practice those shots because they make my doubles game better. So,
yeah. And I need an easy third.
Yeah, you do.
I really need one.
You need all the easy thirds.
I need all the help I can get.
All right.
But I will say one more thing about singles, which is, it doesn't allow you to blame your partner. Yeah. Right? And that's like, can be good. Not that a lot of people like put blame on their partner or mad at them.
I fucking hate that, dude.
But like, people like, there's no question, was it my fault or was it their fault that we lost this game? And in singles, it's like, I am solely responsible for my success or my failure. And that is something that I feel like more people should experience. Yeah. Because it is...
Experience it, accept it.
Yeah. It's definitely like... It's tough when you like no longer can say like, oh yeah, that...
My partner missed all their thirds. Or when Matt was just off that game.
Right.
Yeah, I'm used to saying that.
So I would... Definitely. So I would get out and play some singles and just feel like, get that feel for like, I'm responsible for every one of my shots.
Personal accountability. Yeah, that's important, dude. Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I also think, like, that's such a toxic fucking thing to be, like, always blaming everyone else for why you lost. I don't know. I think, like, getting out of that mindset and starting to learn how to be like, well, we're a fucking team. Yeah. And, like, if my partner wasn't making the best shots, like, that doesn't mean I need to, like, say that out loud. Like, he knows. Yeah. And
No, and I know when it's like... I'm just kidding. It's when you are... Like, some games I'm like, oh, I'm playing, like, out of my mind. I'm playing so well, I can't miss a shot. And it's like, I know we're losing because my partner is having a hard time. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it's like, oh, man, we would have won had, like, it had been two of me out there or whatever, Yeah. So it's like, it's tough to... It's tough to, like, square that a lot of the time. And I do have... Like, I would say I never get mad at my partners for any reason, but I do probably sometimes put blame on them in my head. I'm like, oh, well, we just didn't win because of how they were playing. But I'm never like, oh, man, I can't believe I can't believe I lost. It was all their fault.
One of the worst things you can do, I think, if you want to get, like, different partners, you want to get good partners, like, the worst thing you can do is, like, put your partner down after a tournament and talk about how bad they played. Because, like, the pickleball community is really small. And if you do that, like, people are going to all of a sudden, like, start talking. And then they're going to be like, oh, yeah, like, he was just trashing his fucking partner. And it's like, I don't know, dude. Nobody wants a partner that's just going to trash them if they weren't playing their best, Yeah. And take zero accountability for maybe... you weren't a good partner that day. Maybe you were missing shots and all you could focus on was your partner was missing all their shots. Yeah. So anyways, just some stuff to wrap it up there. anything else you want to touch on? We got about 3 minutes. We got to head out to round robin. We're going to be hosting.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, like I said, the PPA finals are going on right now. I think let's try to like catch up on some more podcast content this week and maybe record an extra one with the finals coming into it to an end today. Obviously, like 2024, like it really feels like pro pickleball is coming together.
Off, dude.
It's really coming together. Off. You know, we've the two of us have been watching pro pickleball pretty much since we started playing, so like three-ish years, and it is wild in that amount of time, like how much the pro game has changed, pickleball's changed, but like the production quality and for a while you would get all of these like this person made this like huge run into a tournament and all this stuff, and it's like feels like things are starting to
solidify.
Yeah, and like we would also see, people like Jack Sock come in. He like played a tournament with Anna Lee and they won a mixed final, but then it's like he's had
zero results since then.
Yeah, he's had a tough time. Obviously, Jack Sock, he was number 2 doubles player in the world. He has won a Grand Slam and was a tennis Olympian for the U.S., so very strong tennis player.
But it solidifies pickleball as a real sport.
Yeah. Because
if an athlete like Jack Sock can't break into the top 20 in doubles, like, what does that tell you, and that's what he did in tennis.
Yeah,
Number 2 in the world in doubles, like in
tennis
like amazing tennis player. But can't do it in pickleball. And granted, who knows how hard he's training, how much he's really investing in this, but other high-level tennis pros have tried to come into the sport and make it happen, and they're not having an easy time of it. This is a fucking hard sport.
Yeah, Christian Alshon was right. No, I'm just kidding.
But look, if you guys want to get better and you want to improve your pickleball game, watch the pros. I cannot stress this enough. Like, so many pickleball players do not watch the pro game, and then they wonder why this person's getting better and they're adding new shots to their bag and they're learning new double strat. It's because they're watching pickleball, you guys. So watch pro pickleball. It'll make you a more intelligent player if you watch film and study what the pros are doing, because this is how they're making their livelihood. So of course they're going to find new ways to win. So anyways, that's my rant. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We're looking to upgrade the podcast and just keep this thing going, stay consistent in 2025. So we will talk to you guys probably very soon with another episode of the Way Out Pickleball Podcast. See you guys.